Eagles Entertainment.
Welcome, Eagles everywhere, to the Eagles Insider Podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group. Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro with you at the NovaCare Complex. It's Thursday afternoon. Eagles getting ready to hit the road. Charlotte, North Carolina, the destination for Sunday against the 3-1 Carolina Panthers team that opened up the season in a surprising fashion with 3 wins, a loss to Dallas on Sunday, looking to get back on the winning track, as are the Eagles, who've lost 3 consecutive games. A lot of uncertainty for the Eagles, of course, with some injuries, some question marks, particularly along the offensive line. And we're going to explore that here today on the Eagles Insider Podcast. We're going to talk defense as well. Hey, what is the Eagles' defense? Is it the first 2 games where they played really well against Atlanta and San Francisco, or is it the last 2 games where they've struggled so much against Dallas and Kansas City? We're going to find out some perspective from that side of the football. Linebacker T.J. Edwards joins us in just a bit, but we do want to focus on the offensive line. I mean, think about it. Last week, only hours before the game began against Kansas City, the Eagles announcing literally 90 minutes before game time that Lane Johnson would be inactive due to personal reasons. So what does that mean? They're already without Jordan Mailata. Lane Johnson not going to play. So what do? What you do is you call on Jack Driscoll, who had just been activated from the injured reserve list. He just practiced that week. Probably didn't know he was going in at tackle, right? Yeah. So he plays right tackle. He plays very well. And the beat goes on. How do you get ready on such short notice for a completely new experience? Let's find out right here on the Eagles Insider Podcast presented by Lincoln Financial Group, one-on-one with Eagles' second-year offensive lineman, Jack Driscoll. Jack Driscoll has not met a challenge he's afraid to conquer. So he joins us here on the Eagles Insider Podcast. Jack, I'm so impressed with what you've done as a young Philadelphia Eagle. You seem to be the guy that can handle any sort of situation. Am I making this up? I mean, are you cool on the outside and like a duck, you're flapping below the water?
No, I always just try to keep level head, and that's kind of something I've always done, no matter what sport from a young age is, no matter what situation I'm in, try to make the most of it and learn from it, because as you've seen and whatnot, you can be thrown in any situation, and I don't want to feel like I'm letting the team down when I'm in there. I don't want the level of play to drop just because I'm in there, so it's up to me to rise to the occasion.
So last Sunday against the Chiefs, you find out that you're going in at right tackle. You had not prepared to play right tackle throughout the week. I wonder, and I know you've talked about this, but if you can kind of share with me, what was the emotional experience like?
Yeah, so it's about an hour and a half before the game, and Stout told me the news and whatnot, and it was kind of just screw it. I don't have time to be nervous. I don't have time to overthink it. It's I'm just going to go out there, execute my technique. And, I've repped a lot of right tackle, and throughout college I played right tackle. So, it wasn't like they were saying, hey, you're playing center or something. I've never played, but, I haven't played in a long time. So I was confident. I'd played a lot next to Nate Herbig. So it was, we played a lot of games and a lot of practice reps next to each other. So that made it, nice and whatnot. But I just went out there with the same mentality I had when I was at guards. I'm just not going to let the team down. I'm going to go out there and play as hard as I can. And whatever happens, happens. But I'm not. I don't want people to turn on the tape and at least say, "Oh, he wasn't playing hard." Because that's one thing I always, try to pride myself on is playing hard and playing to the whistle and playing for the city of Philadelphia.
All right. So I don't know if fans can understand this. So you watch film all week and you're studying the entire Chiefs front, really the entire Chiefs front seven. But did you have to cram in some film study in that 90 minutes of time before you went on the field to just kind of get more familiar with what they were doing on the edge?
Yeah, so the one thing I lucked out with, I'd watched a lot on 95 on their team because, he played all over the place. He played left, he played right, he played inside, outside. And during the game, I had him on me a lot. So at least I had watched a lot of his tape. But then I saw Connor Barwin, and Connor Barwin always breaks down the pass rushers in the beginning of the week. So I just told him, give me the 30-second rundown of each of these guys. And then he told me, and he told me what 97 and those guys like to do. And I just went out there and kind of with that in the back of my mind. And also, I'm a big proponent of controlling what you can control. And it's on me. It's no matter what they do, if I execute my technique and I do what Coach Stout tells me to do, I can, I'll be in position to, be able to stop anyone. And, at least being a chance to succeed.
I want to get back to the football in a second. So in your upbringing, through your days at Massachusetts and Auburn, you were lauded for your academic achievement. I think you took some leadership courses as well. One of your favorite quotes is, "Success breeds complacency. Complacency breeds failure. Only the paranoid survive," by Andy Grove, who's a management kind of high output guru, if you will. Did that help you in these kind of moments?
Yeah, because, it's the NFL is no one cares what you did last week or no one cares what you did yesterday. So it's like every day you have to bring, you're only, my dad always told me growing up, you're only as good as your last play. So it's like, I go out there with the fact that, like, it doesn't matter what I did in the play before, the week before, if I'm not, worried in the sense that, like, I need to have, like a sense of urgency. I need to play well and I need to, execute as best as I can each play. And, once the play's over, forget about it and on to the next one. And that quote just really has stuck with me because it's kind of like how I approach every day is, every morning I start the same way. I look to see my locker is still there. And then it's like, I did something good enough yesterday where I'm still here today. And then what can I do today so that I'll be here tomorrow? And I just feel like if I approach everything I do that way, that, I'll at least be in a position to succeed.
Where did you come across that quote? Was it a college class you took, a high school class you took?
I was reading one day, and it was like an article or something, and it was in there. And I just, like you said, it was one of those things where it just stuck with me. And it was one of my classes in Auburn. I don't remember exactly where it was, but it's one of those quotes that stuck with me ever since.
It's interesting because I think some people would say, well, if you're paranoid, you can't relax and achieve and perform at your highest capacity. You don't find that to be the case?
Well, I do think there's a happy medium of, like, you don't want to be so, tensed up and nervous that, you're overthinking things. But at the same time, like, you don't want to be too lax where it's like, and for me, that quote's speaking more in the half of like, I've done well, I don't have to work as hard, or I've done well, I don't need to practice as hard, or, watch film as hard, or recover as hard. So for me, I take it from that point of view. Once I'm out in the field, I do try to, cut it loose and have fun because at the end of the day, it's football, and football is a game I've, played my whole life and I've loved. And, sometimes when you get out there and stuff, it's easy to overthink it and overanalyze. It's like, look, it's the same game. And the guy across me puts his pants on one leg at a time. That was one thing Stout told me before the game was like, these guys, it's the same thing you've done, your whole life. So just go out there, have fun. But yeah, from that standpoint, just understanding that, like, if you don't have that sense of urgency, this is the NFL. They'll find someone else who will do it, get it done.
And I do imagine that Sunday was particularly fun for you because you'd just come off IR. When the game is taken away from you because of an injury, let's be honest, it sucks. And you're right. There's only 17 games a year. Was there an extra kind of sense of like, I can't wait to get on the field on Sunday?
Oh yeah. I mean, like you hit on that. It sucks when you're injured and it's like, you see all your eyes out there and you're rooting for them, but it's like, it's hard not being out there. And even practice, it's like just standing there watching. It's like, man, it really gives you a sense of appreciation for like how much you love the game and, how lucky I am to do what I do for a living and to be able to play for the, a great organization like the Philadelphia Eagles and represent them on the field. So, I always think from each injury, I try to learn and grow a little bit, and understand like, this game doesn't last forever for anyone. And it's like, you can't take it for granted. You can't take a play for granted because you really do never know when it's from your last play. And, it's tough, but it's one of those things, injury in the NFL is 100%. At some point, you're going to have to deal with it and just, getting through it. And, it does give you that sense of appreciation once you're back out there with your brothers, though.
I would imagine that when you watch the tape after the game, you are brutal on yourself, along with Stout. How did you play on Sunday against the Chiefs?
Well, not good enough to win, and that's at the end of the day, that's how I always look at it is no matter if, individual performances, it doesn't necessarily matter. If you don't win, then it's like everyone needs to look themselves in the mirror and say, I need to improve because that's the most important thing. And, so there's some things I did well, but definitely some things I need to clean up on. And, I look forward to, Coach Stout always does a great job and is very vocal about the things I need to clean up. And he also is good about, things that I did well. But it's going to be important just moving forward to continue to grow and, kind of knocking some of that rust off coming off of IR and, continue to, get better as a player.
Jack, did you have the idea when you came into the NFL after playing at Massachusetts and Auburn that you might be somebody who would have to be versatile, that you have to show your versatility to have a long, successful career in this league?
For sure. And that was something, my agent and, even just, mentors I worked with throughout the process just said, unless you're a starter, you have to be able to play more than one. Because as you know, you're only dressed in 7 or 8 guys. So, you do the math, and guys need to be able to back up multiple positions. So it was something that, last year being a weird year with COVID and all that, I really embraced is learning the guard position and, trying to, really become the best guard and tackle I can be, because you saw, you never know at what time you're going to be thrown in either of those, positions. So I definitely know that, especially early in my career, it's going to be really important for, to play multiple positions. And, on a dime, too, they could say, play here. And I, can't miss a beat. I got to go out there and execute. Okay, a couple things about you before I let you go. Off the field, prized possession of yours is a very large baseball card collection. For all of the people out there who are big into cards, and I know it's a booming business, tell me about your collection. How many cards do you have approximately, and what do you have that's valuable? I have a lot, and like I said, I need to go through it, because it's one of those things that's been sitting in my attic. When I was younger, I would spend all afternoon, when I would, free time I have, I'd go to card stores or a thrift shop or a flea market and just go collect cards and, put them in, the cases and stuff, and that was what I loved to do, and me and my brother would do it. I have some good cards. I have some Derek Jeter rookie cards, Ken Griffey Jr. mint condition rookie card, and now it's crazy to see the market is booming with those, because, when I was collecting them, there was really no market for it. It was kind of, way down from what it used to be. So it's good to see that guys are collecting again. And, it's a fun thing. It's, it's good to get away from a screen too. I always, like to just sit and watch TV. I always enjoy to do something. That was helped me out. In a very interesting bio of yours on the Eagles website in the media guide, you say that the moment that you were left starstruck is when you've met Tim Cook, the longtime CEO of Apple, and Yao Ming, the Pro Basketball Hall of Famer. Tim Cook, how'd you meet Tim Cook? How'd you meet Yao Ming? Tim Cook is an Auburn alum, so he came and he talked to us after the Iron Bowl when we beat Alabama, and it was really cool just to be like, that's the Apple CEO. It's the biggest company in the world, and that's the CEO, and it's cool to think that, he went to Auburn, and is a great dude, and it's just one of those things where it's locker room full of football players, he stood out, as everyone knew who he was, and it was a cool thing. And then with Yao Ming, I was at my quarterback from college, Jarrett Stidham's wedding, and we were sitting there at the reception, and we're like, who's this guy standing up in the middle of the wedding? Because we're like, everyone's sitting down, in chairs. And we're like, why is this guy standing up? And we're like, wait, he's not standing up. That's Yao Ming sitting down. And it looked like a grown man standing up. And it was the craziest thing ever. And, just standing next to him is, I always feel like I'm tall, relatively tall at 6'4", but then you see someone who's over a foot and a couple inches taller, and you're just looking up like, damn. Why was he at the wedding? What was he doing at the wedding? So Jarrett's wife, his dad was the CEO of the Houston Rockets. And now he's CEO of the 76ers. So, nice. Small world. Yeah, it really is a small world. All right, we're going to see you on Sunday back in Carolina. I guess we'll see you on the field. We don't know where, right? I mean, it's only Thursday. You could change position 3 times between now and Sunday. I might be playing, receiver or something. Who knows? Let's not get carried away here. Yeah, all right. Yeah. You'll see me on the O-line. Jack Driscoll, thanks so much for joining. Good luck on Sunday. Beat the Panthers. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. The Eagles' defense looked so good in Week 1 at Atlanta after that rough early start. You remember the Falcons took their first 2 possessions into the Eagles' red zone, and the Eagles' defense stiffened and held the Falcons to 2 field goals and then shut them down the rest of the way. And then they started that way against the Niners in the home opener at Lincoln Financial Field, a dominating first quarter. And in fact, the Eagles limited San Francisco to, nothing until late in the first half. The Niners put together a 97-yard touchdown drive. And since then, the Eagles' defense has struggled. What is going on with the Eagles' D? Let's get some perspective. Linebacker T.J. Edwards has played a key part in this group. He's a rising young linebacker. He started 3 of the 4 games. Very active on the defense, terrific on special teams. And he joins me here on the Eagles Insider Podcast, presented by Lincoln Financial Group.
So, TJ, it seems like it's been kind of a tale of 2 seasons through 4 games for the defense. I mean, how would you characterize 2 really strong games against Atlanta and San Fran, and then games against Dallas and Kansas City that were clearly not the way you wanted them to go?
I think it's difficult. kind of like you said, I mean, I think we played really well the first couple, and I think it just goes to show that you got to be ready every single week to come out and play your best football. And, at times we didn't do that these past 2 games, and we're definitely excited as hell to be back in here working on it right now and making sure we come out ready to play this week.
Is it, in your opinion, as you look around and really based on yourself as well, is it technique? Is it assignments? Is it just getting beat by better teams? I mean, how do you kind of explain, is it learning a new system and not still being all the way there yet? I mean, I guess after two games you feel so confident, and then it must be a kind of a difficult thing to absorb that you struggle for 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, none of us, want to be out there and getting points scored on us and things like that. But yeah, it's just little things, technique-wise and execution-wise, that didn't happen last game. And like I said, I think everyone in here looks at themselves very critically when we come in after the games and see what went wrong and see what we did well. And just kind of build on those things that went well, and also know that we need to correct those things that went wrong to help our teams win football games. So kind of like you said, I think for the most part it's just executing at a high level against really good, everyone in the NFL is really good, so we have to be at our best at all times. So we're looking forward to doing that this week.
What is your level of comfort in the scheme now? You've had through training camp and now 4 games. How do you feel about the scheme, and then how do you feel about your role in the scheme?
Yeah, no, I feel really good about the scheme. Honestly, I think even having the OTAs this year, I think a lot of guys, learned a lot about their role going into camp, and then in camp we were able to, run at full speed and see where guys fit in certain places and things like that. So I think everyone feels really comfortable with the scheme, and like I said, I think it just comes down to executing at times, and we didn't do that in those last 2 games for sure. So and then my role, I think it's. For me, I just want to be prepared for any situation, any scenario. I think at times you kind of just have to go with the flow of the game, and our coaches do a good job of keeping guys fresh and going with who's hot, and also making sure that everyone's locked into the game because, things happen during the season and everyone has to be ready to play. So I think that's helped a lot, just in terms of everyone from the ones all the way to the end of the depth chart knows exactly what to do and how to do it. So now it's just, again, going out there and executing at a high level.
Is the defense, in terms of what it's asking you to do, different than what you've done in the past year?
I wouldn't say so. I think, there's only certain ways that you can, run certain coverages and things like that. I think obviously our makeup's a little different, but the way that we're playing certain things are similar and all those things. The techniques might be a little different, but again, things that we've repped since OTAs and camp and things like that. So I think from a comfort level and in terms of, my role, I'm happy where I'm at, and I just want to keep getting better every single day because, obviously we have to keep on doing that for our team to be a good football team.
Okay, it's on the road this week. It's Carolina. I guess at this point we really don't know about McCaffrey. What are you seeing from the Panthers offense?
Yeah, no, they're explosive. I think they're back even without McCaffrey is really good, and obviously with him they're even better. So the explosives kind of all over the field in terms of the receivers as well. Decent, very good old line, and again, it's just gonna be one of those things where you got to come out every single week. And I don't think our message has changed in terms of alignment, assignment, key technique, and just knowing the areas of the defense that they're going to try to attack, and making sure that we're just on our right reads and right keys. And I think a big thing is just kind of playing mentally locked in, and also making sure that we're having fun doing it. It's been a tough stretch, but it's football, and we got to show our energy, our excitement, and so I think we're all just really excited to get back out there and put our best foot forward.
What is Carolina doing with Sam Darnold? Why does he have 5 touchdowns on the ground? Are they running him a lot? Is there a lot of design stuff for him to get outside and use his athletic ability?
I think you see a little bit of design in the red zone and things like that, but no, I think he's faster than what people think, and he's more athletic than what people think. He can definitely, make some plays with his feet and keep plays alive and things like that. But I just think, he's a really good player, and he's a guy that we definitely want to make uncomfortable, and he's obviously the heartbeat of that offense. So doing anything we can to affect him is going to make us be successful this weekend for sure.
Hey, TJ, what's the mood like in the locker room at 1-3?
Yeah, I think it's positive, and I think it'd be easy for people to come in here and be down and feel tensed and stressed out. But I don't think that helps much, when guys are doing things like that. But I think everyone right now is just looking forward to this next game, going out there and playing really good football. I think we all know how good of a team we can be and have shown at times. So just going out there and putting it all together and doing it together, making sure that we're staying together as a team and still connecting with each other, making sure that, because I think the more that we know each other and the more that you're comfortable with the guy next to you, the better we'll play as well. So I just think right now we're in a good spot. I think we've had some adversity hit us these past 2 weeks with just not playing as well as we'd like. But I know every single person here is excited as hell to get back out there this week and get out to Carolina and get things going.
Don't you think you find out who the leadership is during adversity? And if so, how have you what have you learned about the defense and the leaders? I mean, BG goes down and other players have to step up. And so what have you learned about this Eagles defense through these tough times?
Yeah, I think one thing that's cool is everyone seems to be able to lead in their own way. You have guys who speak up, and obviously, getting Rodney back and him being, part of the defense again and just having that solid leadership, that experience in the back end to keep everyone calm and keep everyone on the same page is huge for us. So having him back has helped a lot. And, obviously we lean on guys like Fletch and Hargrave and those guys who've been playing football at this level for a very long time at a high level. And they're guys who embrace those roles and make sure to say things when they need to be said and also, keep people up when they need to stay up. So I think it's exciting. I think you learn a lot about different people in times like this. And, right now I can't say anything negative about what's happening in this building. So it's exciting. It really is.
Hey, TJ, thank you very much. And good luck on Sunday. Beat the Panthers.
Appreciate you, Dave. Good talking to you.
Thanks very much to Jack and to TJ for their time. Good luck Sunday in Charlotte against the Panthers. Thanks to all of you for joining us. I'm Eagles Insider Dave Spadaro. Peter Kelly, great job. Julie McLaughlin, terrific. Thank you so much for your work on this podcast, along with Ray Doyle producing. We're back with more. Our post-game instant reaction podcast comes your way from Charlotte on Sunday. Eagles looking to get back on the winning track against the Panthers. I'm Insider Dave Spadaro. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have yourselves a great Eagles day. Fly, Eagles, fly, and go Birds. Beat the Panthers.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!